Hi, hello, welcome to the Daily Chair Buffet brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Blosi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the transiting moon into Aquarius. If you're new, welcome. You belong to Welcome Home. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for your continued support. It's a delight and an honor to serve you. Thank you for allowing the privilege and the pleasure to do so. We're going to talk about the ninth house. So during Gemini season, if there's any kind of event going on in Aquarius, it's a ninth house event. So this specific event is a lunation, meaning a lunar, a moon event. So that means there'll be increased insight and intuition into the areas of the ninth house. So it's like a broader minded mind. It's like a larger mind. Typically, it's expansive. It's also something where we might have to go the distance. We may be stumbling through uncertainty or a lack of knowledge, and then suddenly we reach a pinnacle. We round the corner, we gain that knowledge. Sometimes it could be faith. It's when we begin to put things together that for a while we're unsettled or uncertain. It can also just be our viewpoints towards philosophy, religion, the collective belief. Now, it also can talk a little bit about like the relatives or the energy or the nature or the values distilled on us through father or patriarchy. So, institutions, especially ones that are stable, like education, anything where it's like a filter of reality. Now, normally we say it's still expansive because we can lean into it, we can feel into it. It's like faith, okay? If we want to talk about institutions that are imposed, it's also good to take into account the 12th house, which we'll talk about in a little bit over a week, a little bit around 9 days from now, so 7 days from now. So the situation with the ninth house, I say patriarchy because it's father, um, it's aether, really is the word I'm trying to use, aether. So basically, start with the understanding like this. When we look up above the horizon, towards the stars, into the future, we begin to understand. Now we are guided by faith, not necessarily by sight. Now it's not all about the faith, the hope, the optimism. It's not all about the heart's desires, soul's ambitions. It's just about our attitude and our viewpoints, how we reconcile the belief in the unknown, or it's just a belief in a future that has a little bit of tangible, actual, factual, but it's still kind of ethereal in some nature because it's not something we personally experienced. We may have witnessed it, we may have heard about it, we may have read about it. So again, you see why I'm saying it's like a little bit of a travel in the mind. It's broader minded beliefs. Now, when I say patriarchy, I want to retract that slightly, but think of it as filters of reality: history books, science books, religious books, government, education, religion, politics, media. These are the filters of reality. We also have colonizer and controller. This is when we either become enslaved by said archetype, colonizer, controller, or we liberate ourselves from said archetype, colonizer, and controller. So the colonizers are the mother, daddy, teacher, preacher. The controllers are necessarily, well, excuse me, the colonization is the history books, the science books, religious books, and those who impose are the controllers. So mother, daddy, teacher, preacher is all of these kind of gatekeepers or leash holders. Okay, so when we have enough of our own and we don't need to look around and ask for permission, this is kind of where we are, this ninth house. Also, if we've been walking through the dark, eighth house, or we've been walking around through the unknown, eighth house, or we've been drumming, dredging the depths of our subconscious, confronting the things alive in us, especially our shadow, perhaps going on a dark night of the soul. When we come out into the light, that's the ninth house. Okay. So that's going to happen, increase insight, intuition into these areas for a couple of few days. Now, it's going to happen in the way, in the style of Aquarius. So, broader minded ideas, definitely future placing, might even be a little bit alien, might even be a little bit taboo, definitely going to be a little bit sassy, and it's definitely going to be a little bit what some might call flair. Others who are uninformed, unawakened might call it, flippant, flagrant, even frivolous, but it's not. It's something that is difficult to contain. It's not easy to put a label around it. And sometimes there are institutions, especially ninth house institutions, that would say something negative or derogatory because it's not easy to tame. There are large factions of the populace and the systems of control that are fearful of things they cannot control. Does that make sense? So the thing about Aquarius energy is about breaking up, breaking free, not in the sense of being rebellious or, wreaking anarchy upon the land. It's actually a sovereignty of the self. It's a celestial sovereign citizen. When we're able to roam and wander, we're able to return whole, fresh, and rejuvenated. And for those who are enmeshed or those who are in this systemic control or archetypes of control, they don't know how to deal with that. In addition, those who wander are not always lost. Some people only feel comfortable. And when I say some people, I also mean institutions. They only feel comfortable when they have the why of the why of the why of the why. Sometimes the path becomes clear once you take the first couple steps. And there's a certain type of energy, there's a certain type of frequency, there's a certain type of vibration, there's a certain type of person, there's a certain type of being, there's a certain type of entity that is really down well in alignment with that unknown, or being willing to, blaze the trail, being willing to go towards the unknown. And it's not so much about this because Aquarius is very mental. It's that they can answer a calling that's not easily perceivable, it's not easily fathomable, it's not easily rational according to whatever we already know, according to what's been written, according to the status quo, according to the policy, procedure, and protocol. Also, I'll say this before we get into the reading. It's ruled by Saturn. So Saturn blesses in Aquarius, but curses or disciplines, let's say, in Capricorn. So there's a blessing with Aquarius that comes from a system, a structure that is difficult to fathom. These are people looking out at a house that's supposed to be glass, and they're looking at mechanisms right in front of them that they're supposed to be able to discern, and they're not. When they pierce below the surface, when they peek behind the curtain, they see something and they take it at face value, and they come to find out later that that face value is not as it seems, and that's not something that they understand. But this comes from a galactic sovereignty. This comes from a celestial alignment that not a lot of people, before you get to the ninth, before you get to the 11th house, have that intact. So these is the divinity that is difficult to fathom. Okay. And it might be godlike because Saturn has many crowns, many rings. So those rings talk about crowns. So let's get in here, fitting here, and see what we got going on. Okay, so I just saw the break and now it has left it. Okay. So we're going to lay 4 cards from the This Might Hurt Tarot. This is where we're going to impose the guidance. We will deliberate further uh, meanings and leanings with additional decks and additional cards. But these core crystallized concrete 4 cards is the overall core energy of the reading as we're gathered here today for the Daily Tarot Buffet. If the reading's going a little bit too slow or a little bit too long, you can increase the playback speed. It will shorten the reading up into half, and it will also make me sound like a chipmunk. In addition, not always, but usually in the show notes or the about section or the description box, there's like some Hamza hands. There's a link to the summary for this. Okay, so This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman over at Liminal 11 Publishing. We'll be imposing the guidance from there. We have the Lover's card, King of Cups, Two of Wands, Moon. Lovers, King of Cups, Two of Wands, Moon. Lovers, King of Cups, Two of Wands, Moon. The Lovers is about union, communion, partnership. It can be a choice. If we're dealing with another one person, it talks about a soulmate union. Not all soulmate unions are romantic, meaning it's not always filial. It can be congenial. And we also be dealing with Gemini energy. We don't know specifically yet. I'm getting Pisces. So this might be a Gemini rising because King of Cups with the Moon card is either Sun in Pisces or midheaven in Pisces, which would mean a Gemini rising. So King of Cups is unconditional love, typically shows up in the form of compassion. If we're dealing with another person, they have love to give us, or there's some type of counsel, wise counsel, because they've mastered their authentic self. So they're authentic, sincere, genuine. Okay. This is also somebody that's mastered their spiritual gifts. Two of Wands is about being at a crossroads. Sometimes it's about weighing up options, having dominion. Okay. It could be franchise purchase, autonomy, options, choices. And then the Moon card is about things that go bump in the night. Said differently, it's the dark night of the soul. Said differently, it's things that need to be confronted. Said differently, it's something that's latent, meaning not manifest. Said differently, it could be hidden agendas, ulterior motives, even hidden enemies. Said differently, it could be things that are veiled or obscured. It's going to be some abstract version of a couple of those descriptions. Remember, it's the same energy that's hitting us all, but it manifests differently according to the rising and the North Node and the level of ascension, healing, or awakening. So again, I already said we might have some type of Pisces energy, mostly Pisces Sun card, to a lesser degree Pisces midheaven, which would also talk about this Gemini rising. For the Gemini rising, since we're in Gemini season, it would say that somebody has Mars in the 11th house. And it's also saying that 2 days ago, we started to have some kind of option. And in the next couple of days, something's going to be confronted or become manifest, because we're dealing with some kind of ordained role, spot, position in some kind of way, shape, form, or another with the Four of Wands. Eight of Cups, we're withdrawing, I feel a little bit. We're wanting to withdraw. King of Cups, Eight of Cups, wanting to detach. King of Cups, Four of Cups. With this Four of Pentacles, we have a triple four already. Back to back to back. Four of Wands, Cups, Pentacles. So that's moving in together. Could be moving into a union or moving into a domicile. Okay, and then we have the fourth force. So we have all four fours. That's called a set of fours. So that's marriage. It's the actual union in Meneo. So we have King of Cups, Queen of Cups. So this is, and we're talking about the ninth house. So I gotta say it's a union with the divine. However, it may anchor itself to a member of the soul group, including the Ace of Cups and the Six of Wands here. So we won. We won. I'm gonna pause for a second. We have all these fours, King and Queen. But on our end, there's the moon, which means we were in the dark for a moment. Something was not manifest, just for a moment. Now we have, so there's, with the moon card, this king and queen could be moon and queen. It could be moon in Pisces, Sagittarius rising, king and moon. It could be sun in Pisces or Gemini rising. Now we have the king of swords with the Gemini card. That could be Gemini sun or Virgo rising. We have a pair of sixes, six of swords, six of wands here, receiving glory, receiving grace. We have the king of swords, six of swords, Hierophant with the knight of pentacles. So also, there could be some type of Mars in the second house, Mars in Taurus, or Taurus rising. Aquarius rising, or Leo rising. For the Leo rising, there would be first house Jupiter. High Priestess, Nine of Pentacles, Judgment. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, Three of Cups. Ooh, this is getting juicy. Okay, with the Page of Wands. Okay, so Page of Wands with the Gemini card brings in, again, another confirmation for the Gemini rising. We could also have our Venus in the ninth house, Venus in the seventh house, or in a sign of Sagittarius. Okay, so this energy is really something is preparing us to receive some type of transmission. It can be something that was ordained before we kind of came in and has to deal with the calling on this life. It could also be because of the family or the bloodline that we were born into. Some of us are the widowed son, widowed daughter, so we don't always know about our origin story. A lot of times, of course, we do. But Page of Wands, Six of Wands is about feeling victorious, feeling triumphant, or feeling chosen. And I actually feel here that we're going to be feeling chosen because our what we've cultivated gets recognized. We also something bears witness to us. And it's prophetic, Wheel of Fortune judgment card. It's something that's bearing witness to us. Like I said, Three of Cups is witness, testimony, or answer, prayers received. So we've built ourselves up from the inside out. Nine of Pentacles. We have high worth, high value, high deservedness. We're in alignment, especially vibrationally, energetically. Something is starting to pay off. It's yielding. And there is something here about being single, but with the Hierophant here, the Hierophant technically is this Gemini Taurus energy. It's Sun in Sun in Sagittarius or Jupiter in Pisces is what that means. This Hierophant. Yes, zodiac wise it means Taurus, but the Hierophant astrologically means Sun in Sagittarius or Jupiter in Pisces, and that's the ninth house. And remember, in the beginning of the video, I was talking about, okay, so there's a difference between the 12th house and the ninth house. Well, the ninth house is the Hierophant. A lot of people disagree. Okay, that's fine in my system. And then the Hangman is actually the 12th house. We don't have that here. But the moon is Pisces. And I did talk about Pisces and Sagittarius, or 12th house and ninth house. So something here, I'm feeling a full circle. I'm trying to grab it so I can transmit the message. Ultimately, over the last 3 weeks, something's been building up in the background, inviting us out to play. There's an invitation for us or good news. It might just be coming as a transmission. It might not actually say, here's some news. It might not say like, hey, da 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 da. But but it can very well be that because of the Judgment card. The Judgment card is similar to the Tower card, except the Tower card is shocking and it may unravel you. The Judgment card, it's a revelation just like the Tower, except it's usually wide and far reaching, whether it's across the globe, across a community, into another lifetime, eternal soul, incarnational kind of energy. And it's a revelation, but it might have been something that we knew about, like a calling. Because there's vows and oath here. Judgment card is clarified by the Hierophant and the Nine of Pentacles. It took us a while to pledge or to vow or to take oath. And something was in our intuition knowing this. High Priestess with the Wheel of Fortune and the Judgment card, this is a celestial and angelic oracle energy. It always knew that there was a prophecy. There was a prophecy that was foretold. And we're getting to this crucible moment, that this really, really relevant moment where this shift is going to happen. Because we start with this union community partnership, the need to take a choice, a decision, and there may have been some type of judgment here. King of Swords with the Judgment card. King of Swords is judgment, Queen of Swords is discernment. King of Cups, and there is no Queen of Swords here, but I wanted to delineate the meaning. King of Cups, which is here, is unconditional love. Queen of Cups, which is here, is unconditional tolerance. So there was some type of judgment about our absolute authority, about our technical skill. King of Swords with the Judgment card, Four of Swords included in that. And then now we're talking about our authentic self, Cups. We've mastered that, King. We're adept at sharing that and discerning that and living out of it, Queen of Cups, authenticity, genuineness, and sincerity. Again, it keeps coming back to this Judgment card here, and it's the shared energy. It's literally central to the capstone. This is the capstone right here. This upper six cards. So this is saying, like, here we have the golden child. Golden child is the Page of Wands, and their witness is being bared upon them. Testimony is being entered into the record. Three of Cups. There's a celebration or a return or a reunion. Three of Cups. This was destined. Wheel of Fortune. It was foretold and prophesied. Wheel of Fortune combined with the Judgment. And this was writing on the wall as known by the oracle, Nine of Pentacles, High Priestess. And the thing about that is it all interacts. It has like the sacred geometry to it. Everything's kind of mirroring everything. Boom, data, perfect, beautiful, immaculate. Okay. Well, clarified is we start over here with this lovers or this Gemini energy or this need to have judgment or mastery of technical skill. It can be just that there was a Gemini sun or some type of Virgo rising, some type of energy like that going over towards this either Virgo midheaven or um, Pisces midheaven energy, perhaps Pisces sun, Pisces moon. We go from the Gemini to the Pisces energy or the Virgo to the Sagittarius energy. And then it was a slow burn because we need to do all these different things. We need to find policy, procedure, protocol. We need to find self-worth, self-value, self-respect. We need to know what we were worth, what we deserved. We needed to receive glory, Six of Wands. We needed to receive grace, Six of Swords. We needed to have some opening of the heart and the material of an abundant future according to our heart's desires, soul's ambitions, Ace of Cups. We needed to find some type of union with the divine, union, communion, partnership, Lover's card, a set, all four of the fours. We needed to kind of methodically do all these different things and find franchise, purchase, autonomy, choice at this crossroads, Two of Wands. Okay, so it's happened. It's all here. Now, again, as I said, we're starting from this choice and we're going towards this authenticity of the self. And it did require that we withdrew a little bit. Eight of Cups. That could be also pilgrimage, getting to higher ground, maturing. But when you have the King of Cups, Eight of Cups, that means the need to, excuse me, Queen of Cups, Eight of Cups is a need to withdraw. King of Cups, Four of Cups, that's wanting to detach. We have monitoring spirits. So we're in this moment here where everything's about to shift. And it's going to start as early as this weekend. Vertex of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. We will be deliberating the findings for the pairings. That's when we have a double this, a pair of this, a set of this, by the minor arcana of the Cosmic Coven Tarot. That's by Lisa Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado. We're going to look at this set of fours. Actually, we got to look at the set of kings first. It's the first thing that repeats. Okay, so there's some strategy, tactic, cunning here. Now, a pair of kings could mean an alliance of some kind. We needed to master our intellect, reasoning, communication, is what this is saying, because the King of Swords came out here as well. The overall energy is the Seven of Swords, and either the third party or the higher ground is the King of Swords. So that means a desire to either move sneakily or to use strategy, cunning, tactics, a way to use the truth to our advantage, because we're in this energy of the Page of Wands. That combined with, again, the Seven of Swords is we needed to actually be aware that there's an invitation here and then there's good news. There's viability and a drive, desire, passion, motivation that can be embarked upon if we possess some type of technical advantage, technical swords versus practical pentacles. With the Seven of Cups, it means that something was obscured. There might have been an illusion, a mirage. Something might not have appeared as it was in reality, meaning our reality or their reality was a little bit distorted. I am detecting a presence of another person, but this is very clearly talking about if we have belief in the divine, if we get unified with the divine, we will have that union come into the physical through a member of the soul group. Because Nine of Pentacles is desiring wholeness. So now we look at this pair of sixes. Knight of Wands, something is coming back, it's returning. Knight of Wands, that's the overall energy. Shared energy, the King of Pentacles, some type of commitment is coming back or manifestation of a material blessing or a technical skill. Because messages of affection are very positive news are coming. Page of Cups. If we're dealing with another person, they want to work at some type of commitment and there's something for us to choose. We're being given something to choose, and it might be coming as a form of a person, but it would have started out in the spiritual with all those cups here and the cups that were in here as well. Now we can look at this quadruple four. That's called a set of fours, all four fours. Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is here as well. Overall energy, okay, 10 of Pentacles. So we have somebody's heart in our hand, or there's the need for tenderness and intimacy. What is closeness? What is intimacy? Warmth, trust, vulnerability, and closeness. So there's an offer to start something that'll build into a legacy relationship, but what we need to understand is that the overall energy is something here wants to secure, secure the position. This is the first time it took more energy to read the core than it did to read the clarifiers. So Vertex of Abundance is the galactic temple of ascension. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. We'll be using the Veda Sibilla from Los Scarabeo to deliberate the findings for any type of correlative or corresponding energy. I want to know what this Four of Swords with the Judgment and the Wheel of Fortune is. Let's look at the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, no, we got the Four of Swords and the Judgment first. This is an official house or court or celestial proceeding, and it is about some type of union in the spirit that was put on pause, put on hold until a more advantageous time. It wouldn't have grown until a better time. And it's because we needed to learn how to move. We needed to learn how to move properly in the right way. We needed to learn how to keep some type of secrecy. Something might have been sealed or official with this King of Swords. What is this Wheel of Fortune with the Judgment? Because that's something prophetic. Oh, and a King. Okay, so we have here that, okay. See, mercante means you have everything ready. See, everything's ready and in place because it's the solution to something, which is about a hope of a joy of the heart, a hope of a return to the heart. And it took some time to mature, to ripen. La giretta, that's coming, the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. It could be positive or negative depending on the surrounding energy. Maritata, donna maritata is the nurturing. So this is something that's kind of been on the back burner. It's been on the docket of the divine. It had to come through, pull through. And again, there's some kind of joy of the heart that wants to come here. What is this Knight of Pentacles? Nine of Pentacles. Because I think what needed to happen is we needed to be whole. We have Virgo rising here, Taurus rising here. We needed to get steady, get sturdy, get rock steady, find out what we're worth, what we value, what we deserve. We had to kind of return to ourselves domestical. We had to kind of return to ourselves. There's also a petition from the other side, speranza, hoping. Something was hoping for us to bustle up and blossom, glow up a little bit, or just come fully into ourselves. Because we were very supportive as a friend, and that's the energy where somebody did not know how to approach us. Something turned around though, suddenly, because I think there's high stakes here. So the other side got stuck. They made some kind of move, and they got stuck somewhere, realizing that. Okay, so universe was letting us come to ourselves, return to ourselves. There is an energy out there on the periphery that wants to create some type of union. But let me be clear, this reading is about us with our connection to the divine. And frankly, us with our connection to the divine is about us learning who we really are and learning what our calling in this life is. And by answering that calling, we'll already be in the union with the divine or God or Great Spirit or the light or source energy, whatever resonates. But like I'm saying, dutiful. When we have attention to our duties and obligations, that's going to be the solution. I know this is dysglasia. We call that the tower. If things are bad, this is a positive sign. If things are good, this is a negative sign. It typically does mean disgrace or disaster unless that's already going on. And then this is that missing piece, that final solution. Something's hiding in plain sight, meaning there's something that's joyful for us and everybody knows it but us, and that's part of the medicine that we're needing. That's why the Seven of Swords kept coming out, because something was as clear as day to everybody but us. I want to know why we have this King and Queen Pisces energy. I also want to know why we have this Gemini energy here. So it's going to show itself, this love that's always been there in the background building. It's a friend. I don't like that. If you've had access to me and you don't tell me that you want me, and then you see me moving on, moving forward, and now all of a sudden you want me, that's manipulation. It's the same thing like when somebody is not listening to your boundaries, not listening to your standards, not doing that one little thing that you've been asking for, that you're telling them that you need, that you're not able to deal with, going without, that you can't really tolerate, that it's beyond your boundaries and standards, and then you move, you walk on, you leave, you go, and all of a sudden they want to do that thing because now they recognize that you're leaving, and that's again manipulation. So that's what it feels like to me. But it's saying here that it's ordained, and that part of the reason is that we needed to mature. Giovanni Chula is the virgin, but not always because of chastity. Sometimes it could be because of inexperience. Maybe it's something that we wouldn't have been able to fathom before. Gran cancellation. Something was stuck, and we needed to go through a trial in order to figure things out. I wouldn't say trial for just parata petiolosi without the MNAO here, but we need to be cleansed and purified here. Page of Wands, it makes complete sense to me. I don't need to clarify anything, but let me see if anything wasn't clarified. I don't know what this Knight of Pentacles is with the Hierophant. We also have an Ace of Cups here, which is relevant with the Wheel of Fortune. So this Hierophant with the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, somebody did something the right way. It's just not going to feel like that, because the whole time we thought they were our friend, or the whole time we thought that we were just whatever, sociable. And or this whole time we thought that we were struggling, getting in alignment with our path, when we didn't recognize that we were being prepared for love. But love is a blessing, love is a gift, love is the final piece of being in alignment with our life path, spirit, karma, destiny. So Vertex of Abundance is the galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. If anything resonates deeply with, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. From Etsy, we'll be using the Pop of Love Oracle by Vibe Tarot to deliberate the finding of any type of union energy. We have the King and Queen of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is here with the Lovers, so we've got to check it out. Okay, so we have infatuation and tower moments. Okay, so somebody had it bad, but then something shifted. Changes are difficult but necessary for growth. Moments in life that pushes us to be better and to do better because we deserve better. Nine of Pentacles, Page of Wands. The narrative is, I don't know if this was love or if this was the idea of being in love. Our connection was all too consuming, and I cannot wrap my head around it. It's a yes, eventually. Oh, okay, so because we were the runner, it says. I don't know what you want from me. I love you, but I can't give you what you need. I do not have the time or capacity to understand our connection. It's best for me to leave it alone. Okay, I'm getting that it wasn't clear. We felt something, but they weren't being clear. And again, it wasn't about that because we weren't looking for love. We were looking for alignment. But something about this is prophesied, and this is not a love reading. We're in the ninth house. It's not talking about another person in the position for other person. Yes, maybe, but it would only be a Mars and Taurus, Mars in the second house, or a Taurus rising. Otherwise, it's not talking about another person. We don't have a 3, 5, 7, 9 emperor, empress, king, queen, or knight. We do have Taurus energy. And we have Gemini energy here as well. I wasn't always there when you needed me the most. Instead of trying to comfort you, I would jump ship because I couldn't deal with my own emotions, let alone yours. Okay, that's deeply resonating. Ego driven, surrender, settling. So we were hardworking, we were driven and intelligent, focused on something else, and it's coming along, it's coming through now. Something's coming full circle here. That's what I have to say. So it's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything resonated deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe. This was a message about good news coming from a road that was once closed that's now opening. We may be working together with a person to create some type of harsh desires, or we're getting an assist, either angelic assist or something's being assigned to us that's going to bring us into the energy of what we should be in alignment with. Because we were needing discernment and standards and boundaries before, and we finally got that. It's like we're ready. We're ready to receive this transmission. We're ready to receive this material blessing, and we weren't before. It was always here. Just a quick prayer for all those still lost out there, to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine, unconditional, loving universe of oneness. Upon we love you. We're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We pray that your steps are ordered, your path illuminated, and that you find salvation and redemption in this life. May you be happy, may you be whole, may you be well, may you be at peace, may you receive everything you ever wanted, starting with what you deserve. Until we read again, until we meet again, namaste, dandava, and ashe, sayonara, that's vidanya, avidazane. Go ahead and smash that like button. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.